Back in 2009, the new Superfly 1 was the hottest, most innovative football boot around. And a lot of you probably remember it as the ultimate speed boot. And now that design is back again, but on the hottest speed boot in 2020, the Nike Mercurial Vapor 13 Elite. Because if you hadn't guessed it already, this is of course a part of the Nike Future DNA series, where Nike take some of their old classic and really iconic boot designs and slap them on their modern current football boots. And while I am still a little bit bummed about getting this instead of an actual one-to-one remake of the original Hypervenom Phantom 1, well, this is actually quite the opposite, because here I'm really excited about getting just the design of the Superfly 1 instead of actually having to destroy my feet once again in the original blister machine 1.0. Now, just like on the Hypervenom Phantom Vision 2 or Hypervision or whatever you want to call it, Nike decided for their Future DNA Vapor 13 to dive into the archives and take one of the most classic, iconic designs that they had in the Mercurial series, simply to allow some of the future Nike stars of today the chance to wear the design of one of the boots that were really hot back then. So here you basically get the OG design of the Superfly 1 launch colorway on the Vapor 13, which is absolutely perfect, because while the Superfly 1 looks absolutely amazeballs, and by the time at least from a tech point of view was also pretty amazing back then, by today's standards, it's not really all that comfortable. But more on that in a little bit. Because before we do that, let me quickly talk you through the design of the Superfly 1 Vapor 13 remake here, because as I mentioned before, it's actually a one-to-one, recreation of the launch colorway of the Superfly 1 that came in this red chrome design with a carbon fiber outsole. So on the Vapor 13 here, they've actually gone with the same colors, the same color blocking, as you can see, even down to this little detail of having the old school 2009 style Mercurial writing on the heel. But Jay, why is it so exciting for you to have the launch colorway of the Superfly 1? I mean, they made many cool Superfly colorways, and that's absolutely true. Well, the thing is that this colorway never got released to the public, so it was only worn by the pros on the pitch. Now that we're on that topic, that's actually a bit of a funny story. Because when the Nike Mercurial Vapor Superfly, as it was originally called back in 2009, dropped, it was actually a pretty massive deal, because it introduced a lot of new things, amongst those the technology called Flywire, which is basically Vectron fiber threads that have been engineered into the upper in a hang bridge-like structure that wraps around your foot to provide effective lockdown. So the idea was that because it prevents your foot from sliding around and gives structural stability and integrity to the upper, it allowed Nike to make a much thinner upper and thus save a whole lot of weight. But because saving weight was all the rage back in 2009, the Superfly 1 once again used this carbon fiber outsole that we also saw on the Vapor 4 SL, which allowed Nike to create a very light, responsive and snappy tooling. But in order to save 10 extra grams, Nike also infused their studs with a nylon core in order to make the studs stronger, because that allowed them to simply drill holes in the studs, which was a really cool idea and looked amazing, but when you brought it on the pitch and started playing, the holes would fill up with dirt after 5 minutes. But while that all sounded great and amazing, the Superfly 1 kinda took a bit of a stumble, because while CR7 did score in them in his first match against Inter Milan wearing the Superfly 1, some of the other players wearing them had a few durability issues, to say the least, because as we saw with Didier Drogba, Louis Fabiano or Andrea Xavin, the Superfly boots in the launch colorway and the blackout test boots, they kind of ripped and fell apart in a pretty epic wardrobe malfunction. So kind of, Nike had to take them back to the drawing board and make them more durable and actually resulted in them pulling the launch colorway back from the market and in retail stores so you couldn't buy them. And I mean, this is your flagship model, so it wasn't really good. But what is good is that all of those issues are gone on the Vapor 13 because you have the high tenacity yarns to provide that adaptive lockdown that Flywire was supposed to do back in 2009. You have the anatomical nylon outsole to give you that snappy responsive sensation, but with a lot better flexibility. And overall, the Vapor 13 is just much more comfortable because the Flyknit upper is actually soft compared to the OG that was stiff as a board and gave you blisters. And the only thing I can really complain about, if I must, is that Nike could have painted the entire underside of the boot black to mimic carbon fiber, and that, if I'm really nitpicking, the swoosh color is also slightly off. But to be honest, it's something I shouldn't even mention because to me, this is so much better than the Hypervision, or whatever you want to call it, the Hypervenom Phantom Vision remake, because this gives you the concept and the feel and the proper looks of a Nike Football Mercurial Classic, but in a much better performing boot that also doesn't, sorry Superfly one, it doesn't rip, which is good. And also for me, it's just a great way of getting your hands on and actually playing with this absolutely fantastic design and colorway that only ever released as a Vapor 5 with the lace cover thing that looked absolutely ridiculous. It looked so ridiculous I can't talk. This, on the other hand, looks boss. I'm gonna wear it so much. So there you have it, fam. One of the fastest looking Mercurial designs on the fastest Mercurial ever. So let me know how badly you need it in the comment section right down below. And if you need it really bad, you can buy it right now from unisportstore.com if you click the link right over there. But also, if you want to know what's in the rest of these boxes, make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell notifications on, as I'm gonna pop the lid on this box next week. And on that cliffhanger, I'm signing off. Cheerio.